Hello everyone, welcome back to the InfoStreet channel. In today's video, we are diving deep into the SAP Integration Suite and we will walk through a real-world example of integrating product data. So here our goal is to create a flow that checks product IDs from an incoming list and determine if they exist in the database or not, and then route the data accordingly. So this process will give you a solid understanding of how to work with SOAP messages, loops, and conditional routing inside a SAP Integration Suite. So this is the part one of our process, covering the first four steps as you can see on my screen. And in the part two, we will continue with the remaining task. Okay. So in this video, we will build an integration flow that will have the following steps. First, we will take a list of product IDs as a SOAP message. So this will be our SOAP message. And then we will iterate over each product ID. After that, we will check whether the product exists in the database or not. And then we will route it accordingly based on whether the product ID exists or not. Okay, so before we get started, let me just give you the brief definition of SAP Integration Suite. So SAP Integration Suite is SAP's platform for cloud-based integration. It enables you to connect different systems, services, and APIs to streamline processes. It comes with a variety of built-in tools and predefined integrations, or you can say pre-configured integrations, making it easier to handle complex scenarios. So now that you know what is SAP Integration Suite, let me explain what is integration process. So an integration process defines the flow of data between two or more systems, as you can see on my screen. It typically involves multiple steps such as routing, transforming, and checking the data before sending it to the next system. Okay, so now let's jump into our hands-on demonstration where we will create an integration flow in the SAP Integration Suite. So let's start by creating the new package. We will click on create. Let me just give a name for the package. Okay, so once the package is created, we will create an integration flow. Let me just give us a table name for NI flow. Now click on add and open in editor. Okay, so before we start creating our integration process, let me just show you the flowchart of what we will be doing in this video. On the left hand side, you will see this is the SOAP message that we will be using in the content modifier, and then we will iterate over each product ID. Okay, for iterating, we will be using this general splitter, and then we will be getting the single entry. For this, we will be storing the single entry in the exchange properties of the content modifier, and after that, we will be checking if the product is available in the database or not. So if the product is available in the database, we will be doing further processing, or if it is not available, we will terminate our process. Okay, so now let me just first add the timer here. After that, let me add the content modifier. So as you can see on my screen, we will be using this particular payload as our input. Okay, so let me just change name to the payload. And here the type would be an expression. Okay, and we will paste our payload here. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is to iterate over each product ID. So for this, we will be requiring a general splitter. We will be adding the general splitter into our integration process. Let me just change the name to iterate each ID. Now in the processing tab, you need to add the XPath expression. Okay, as you can see, this particular message in the body is in the XML format. It does not have the SOAP format, so let me just change it to the SOAP format. Now, as you can see, the path would be product ID, right? So the path will be 2 forward slashes and product ID. So for this, grouping will be 1. If you want to know more information about the general splitter, just click here on the help icon, and so you will get to know what is general splitter. A general splitter splits a composite message comprising n messages into n individual messages. So like this, you can get more information on different palette functions. Okay, so now let me just click on save as version. Let me just deploy this iFlow. Here you need to change the log level to trace. And after changing the log level to trace, you need to again redeploy your integration flow. Now click on trace. Now here, just click on payload, message content, payload. So here you can see we have our payload. Now so as you can see, the general splitter has splitted the payload. So our next process is to store the product ID. For this, we will be using the exchange property of the content modifier, and we will be storing that product ID. Okay, so let me just click on edit. Now here we will be adding the content modifier. Go to exchange property. Okay, let me just first rename this. Now in the exchange property, click on add. Let me just give a name as product ID. The source type will be XPath. Source value will be /product ID. And the data type would be java.lang.string. Now click on deploy. So we will again navigate to the monitoring message content. So as you can see here, we have got the product ID in the exchange property. Okay, so now the next step is to check if the product is available in the database or not. So for this, we will be adding an external call request reply palette function. Okay, let me rename it. Here we will be choosing an adapter type as OData. So in the address field, you need to pass the API proxy URL. So this one I've already configured in the API proxy section. Let me just quickly show you. So this is our API proxy URL. So we'll just copy and paste in the address field. Okay, so now we will be navigating to the processing tab. Here you need to enter the resource part. Just click on select. Now click on step 2. Now here you need to define the operation and the entity. Okay, let me just select the product set as our entity, and I'll be selecting the fields as product ID, category and name. Okay, so as you can see, it is visible here as well. Now click on step 3. So here we are ensuring that the interface only receives a single result if the product ID stored as an exchange property is found in the database. Okay, for this we are specifying this as a condition. So here you need to define the entry that is stored in the exchange property of the content modifier. Now click on finish. Okay, we will deploy it again. So as you can see, we have got the category, product ID and name because we have only selected 3 fields. So in the next step, we'll be using a router based on a condition. Okay. If the product ID is not available in the database, we will be directly terminating the loop, or if it is available, we will be doing further processing. Okay, so for this, let me just add a router in our integration process. Let me just change the name. Okay, let me change the name of this as well. Okay, so here you need to add the condition. Let me just add a condition here. So this is for when the item is available, right? Okay, let me just add another end message. This is for the other case if the item is not available. I will be making this as a default route. Now deploy the integration process. As you can see here on my screen, this particular product ID is the wrong entry, so it is not available in the ES5 system. Now let's navigate here. Let's click on trace. Okay, so everything is working correctly here, and you see there was a wrong entry, so that's why we haven't got any result here in the payload. For the other entry, as you can see, we have got our result. Okay, so that's it for the first part of this integration process. We have used the SOAP message, which contains the list of product IDs, and then we have used the splitter to iterate through them, and then we have checked if each ID is available in the database or not, and then lastly we have used the router to decide the next step based on the result. So in the next part, we will handle the remaining steps, including the retrieval of sales order line items and writing customer data to the data store. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe to the InfoStreet channel so that you don't miss out the next part of this integration journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.